Yeah. Why DMU? We had so many good things about it. We heard it was the place to give birth. It was a comfortable environment, welcoming, and just had a good reputation for just
the best of both worlds.
Care,
Yeah.
absolute care, fantastic care.
Yeah, very comfortable, very welcoming. I felt at home as soon as I came in here, which I think is quite important. A home birth for me wasn't really something I had considered, just because it was our first baby and I wanted to have all the care on hand that I could, and it was just such a calming experience. Really couldn't have wished for anything better.
So my midwife had obviously discussed all the options with me through like home birth being the safest place if you're being pathway, the DMU and the labour suite, but at the end of the day it was my decision to choose the labour suite. I just knew that I wanted an epidural and that I wanted the most pain relief if I needed it. This is my first baby, so I wasn't sure what to expect, and yeah, I knew that I wanted to be around doctors, and if I needed an epidural that I could get it basically.
Yeah, I think everybody's different, so everybody's going to birth in a different way and everyone's labour is different, so I think it's really important to be able to have that freedom to birth as you choose to, and yeah, that's really I think important for each person to have an individual birth experience. Like no two births are going to be the same.
People should always have the confidence to make their own choices, and I believe that all the midwives within their sector will always help the mums and the dads to make the best choice for them. They're there as a guide, and they really do leave it up to you with as much information as they could possibly give you. They leave it up to you to know yourself, to make the best decision for you, because at the end of the day, you know, the mum and the dad, they have to feel comfortable and be in the best mind that they can be when it comes to labour. And I think no one should have any doubts about how fantastic the service is here, and whatever you want, they will do their absolute best to give you, and I just couldn't recommend them highly enough.
Well, I've been doing an online yoga course and listening to those talks as well as reading my books, and I was really keen on the birthing experience and it being a relaxed environment and upright birthing. So when my midwife came down to do my birth plan, we spoke about that and where would be best for me to labour. After sort of speaking about it, the DMU, the delivery rooms have a lot of space to allow us to move around. They've got the birthing pools, the birthing balls, the valley bar, so it meant that I could use all the upright positions and have that space to move around, which was really important to me.
For some, the labour ward will be the place of birth that's recommended for you. The labour ward provides care for women and families who require some extra support throughout their labour and birth. However, your choices within your birthplace will still be listened to and respected. Fortunately, within the labour ward, we have monitors that can monitor your baby while you move around. We have a birthing pool for you to use if that's part of your choices, and we will always do our best to support you in your choices throughout your labour and birth. Within the labour ward, we will always do our best to support you and your birth plan and the choices that you've made. We're fortunate that we have telemetry monitors, which mean you can have your baby monitored while you mobilise around the labour ward. We have a birthing pool for women who choose to use water for labour and birth.
Certainly was a concern to me that when I gave birth, my midwife wouldn't be there, because as you go through the 9 months of pregnancy, you just imagine your midwife being there. You can't imagine that anyone else will be there to guide you. It's your midwife, and that's exactly how it's going to be. But as you go through pregnancy and as you go through labour and you have children, you kind of have to let go a little bit. And when I gave birth, my midwife wasn't there. I had another midwife, and she was just fantastic. They're all brilliant. We couldn't speak any more highly of the midwife that we had. So I would just say to all expectant mothers not to worry about that, and that everyone is amazing, and just enjoy the experience as much as you can.
I chose a home birth for a few different reasons. First of all, being in your own environment and having your home comforts there, it allowed me to be in control of my birth a bit more, and I really liked the thought of that. Also, childcare was a huge issue for me. My husband and I, we don't have any family close by, and although they would travel up 2 hours to come and look after my 2 older kids, it just was a bit of a stress thinking, it's unpredictable. When is this baby going to come? So it took away the stress for me, knowing that I could have a baby at home and my 2 older children could be in their beds upstairs, and I could be with my husband in the living room and my midwives and deliver my baby at home. It really did work out for me with having my 2 older children at home, and it was lovely because they actually woke up when my son was born, and they were able to come down and meet him and bond with him that little bit quicker than what it would have been if I was in a hospital. So it really was lovely. They also got to meet the midwives, and they got to see the birth pool getting set up, and it was a real buzz and excitement for them. It was pretty much like Christmas. They were a part of it, and hopefully that's something that they're going to remember forever as well.
So I think it's important that obviously I was able to make my own decisions when having my baby, just because I felt like my labour was relaxed, I wasn't stressed. I knew that I got obviously my pain relief when I wanted it, and it was actually a really nice experience in the end. Although I did have to go on to have an emergency caesarean, it was actually fine. Like, it's never put me off. It wouldn't put me off having another baby. I've not got any bad stories to tell, although it technically didn't go the way that I planned. I obviously wanted to have a normal birth, but yeah, I felt relaxed basically, knowing that I could make my own decisions about where to have my baby and how to have my baby.
We met our midwife that delivered our son the day before I went into labour. I had aromatherapy with her to encourage labour to progress because I was 2 weeks late. So she ended up delivering Finn, and it was just like I'd known her the whole time. She put us at ease. She was just so lovely, and as I said, they're just there to guide you in what you are already capable of doing. They just kind of sit in the background and confirm that you are able to do this and you've got this, and
very supportive.
Just
very
so supportive, yeah. So yeah, our birth was as
flawless,
fantastic as I could have hoped for.
With my 3 pregnancies, they were all very different, but all positive as well. And I feel that even with being induced in my 2nd pregnancy, I really didn't want to go to labour suite, and I felt that being in that sort of clinical medical environment, it wasn't something that I was looking forward to at all. But the midwife, she read all my birth plan notes, and she made sure that the environment that I had for my birth was as close to what I wanted as possible. She really listened to me, and even being induced, it was still a really good experience for me. So if anybody's in that situation, then please don't worry, because the midwives are great and they do listen to you and you do feel heard. So it was a good experience, even being induced.